What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the world's greatest football store. In front of me here is the new Vivid Horizon pack from Adidas. Now, it pays homage to the beautiful sunsets that we see over each football pitch across the world. Of course, you have the really bright F50, a more subtle silver, black, and bright Predator, and then of course the dark Copa Pure. We're gonna go over all of the tech specs of each of these 6 models in today's video. Let's hop into it. First, we're gonna take a look at the brand new Copa in this really nice kind of dark blue purple colorway. Now, here on my right, you've got the 0.1 model, and then here on my left, you've got the KT model, or what used to be called the Plus model, KT standing for knit, which is this prime knit here in the lacing system area. So the Copa Pure is one of the only boots from the main brands that have leather on it. It is now calfskin leather. It's called Fusion Skin, which is this really nicely treated calfskin leather with a synthetic midfoot and heel area, a beautiful suede heel liner that's got a lot of padding, but the standard U-throat tongue here on the 0.1 model, and then of course the knit on the KT model. What the knit does is it gives you a little bit of extra wrapping sensation around your foot. A lot of people love that knit sensation, makes it feel like a sock on feet. This is what that gives you, plus you have the addition of this nice plush leather in the forefoot, giving you this really kind of great combo feeling on feet of a really wrapped sensation of a knit football boot, while also giving you that plush touch from the forefoot of a leather model. Now, a couple differences here is obviously the tongue, and then you have the heel areas that are slightly different. You'll notice here there's knit all the way around the heel area on the KT model. You also have a slightly different heel design when it comes to the padding. On the 0.1 model, you have a pretty consistent suede liner across the entire inside of the heel area with consistent padding throughout the entirety of it. There's no weird bulging, and there's no areas where they've put more padding or less padding. That's not the case on the KT model, which gives you a little bit of extra padding around the rim or the top of your ankle, right as your ankle moves into your Achilles tendon. So you're gonna get a really nice locked in sensation really on both models, but I think the KT gives you that just little bit of extra edge when it comes to lockdown and performance. Now, as far as fit and comfort goes, these are top of the range as far as leather football boots go, so you'll get really nice comfort and width regardless of what your foot shape is. I would say heel areas on both are about average width, midfoots are about average width, and then you've got a pretty roomy toe box. So for those of you who like to spread your toes out a little bit and get a little bit more width in the forefoot, you're gonna find these to be very, very comfortable. This, of course, is the F50 line, which comes in 3 different variations, and I have 2 in front of me here in this really fantastic red-pink colorway. You have the F50 Elite and the F50 Elite Women's, or F50 Elite Mid-Cut, regardless of what you'd like to call it. Now, both are very, very good football boots. They feature a majority of the same tech features, so let's get into it. So both feature a Fiber Touch upper, which is a textile-based synthetic material here in the entirety of the upper, basically. And then you have here on the Elite model, you have this compression fit tunnel system, which you can see in black. And basically what that does is it connects to the lateral and medial side of the midfoot, wrapping that midfoot area of your feet so that you get a really nice locked in sensation when making cuts and sprinting forward or backwards in a game. Now, something a little bit different on the women's edition is instead of having the compression fit tunnel, they went with a prime knit sock construction, so a mono sock construction, which basically means it's gonna fit very similar to and feel like just an extra sock on your foot. You've got prime knit all the way through the lacing system area here into a collar that's very nice and plush, super comfortable on feet, and you get a really seamless heel design as well through the entirety of that upper. Now, as far as sole plates go, it's the same Sprint Frame 360 on both models. These are, of course, the FG models, which they do come in an AG model as well, which tunes the aggressiveness down just slightly to make sure that you have really good pivot power on an AG surface that tends to be a little bit harsher on your joints and feet, so that when you plant, you can really get that rotational energy moving forward. Now, heel area fit is slightly different on either one, so you do have the same amount of padding here, kind of around the top end of the ankle area on both. Of course, this model here with the mid-cut is gonna feel a little bit different simply because of the way that the sensation of the sock wraps around the entirety of your ankle area. And then from a lacing system, this one actually does have an extra lace loop, which is super cool because they have shifted the knots a little bit closer to the ankle so that when you tie the laces tight up here, it's gonna lock your ankle back into the heel areas to make sure that with a boot like this that's a speed boot or really lightweight and speed focused, you're gonna get the best possible performance overall. Now, from a fit perspective, I would say that both of these run true to size. I go with my normal 9 US in both. The women's fit variation fits slightly narrower. However, I think it breaks in a little bit better than the Elite model does, simply because the compression fit system does do an exceptional job at making sure that midfoot stays super tight. My midfoot is very wide, and so it does have a little bit of trouble breaking in the midfoot of the Elite model, but on this one, I actually found it to be really, really nice in that midfoot area. Now, the forefoot, I would say, is a little bit roomy compared to most other speed boots on the market. Midfoot's about average, maybe a little bit narrower here on the Elite model, and then the heel area fits pretty much everybody. All right, now moving into the final boot in this new series. This, of course, is the Adidas Predator Elite. We have the FT model here and the normal regular tongue version here. Now, the Predator is probably my personal favorite of the entire Adidas lineup. I think they fit incredible. The hybrid touch upper is amazing. It's super soft, pliable, and molds to pretty much everyone's foot shape. And then, of course, you have these strike skin elements here on the instep and the medial side of the toe box area and a little bit of the midfoot, which gives you an extra little bit of edge when trying to whip and spin the ball. No, of course, it's not going to enhance your play, but it will give you that extra little percentage if you have that technique. So from a heel area perspective, they are completely identical. You get a perforated suede material here in kind of the top side of this heel, a really nice and narrow section where your Achilles kind of gets hugged on either side by these pads here. You have the external heel counter, of course, and then you get a really nice standalone U-throat tongue on the Elite model, and then, of course, the fold-over tongue on the FT model. Now, a lot of people will ask, well, does the FT model give you any performance benefit over the regular model? I would say no, and in fact, from a raw performance perspective, I would actually say that the non-FT model is probably the best, if you will. That being said, if you are a boot head like myself and you are a little bit more on the nostalgic side, I would go with the FT model simply because it looks incredible. The tongue doesn't add really much bulk. The only time you really feel it is when you're juggling a ball. And then, of course, you have the strap, which you can go pretty much any space you want, which gives it a really iconic and old school look while having all the modern benefits of a modern football boot. Now, from a sole plate perspective, they are both fantastic. The stud's kind of a star triangle shaped stud, does a really nice job of digging into the ground both on FG and on AG surfaces. And so for me, it's a boot that you can really wear wherever you are playing, and especially in this colorway with this kind of silvery with the extra red, pink, and the black accents, you're really gonna stand out on pitch. All right, guys, so overall, let me know down in the comment section below what your thoughts on this new colorway scheme is, this Vivid Horizon colorway. My personal favorite is the F50, but I know a lot of people are gonna love a darker Copa, a little bit more classic looking. And then, of course, the Predator Silo just pretty much looks good in every colorway they've dropped. So let me know down in the comment section below which one is your favorite out of all of these. Now, again, from a fit perspective, if you're on the narrower side, go with something like an F50. If you're on the really wide side, I'd probably go for the Copa. If you sit somewhere in the middle, maybe go with the Predator, or of course, if you can fit in all three or all six, then it's really up to you to decide which one is gonna suit your foot the best, and then of course what you're looking for from a performance perspective. Make sure to subscribe to the Ultra Football YouTube channel if you haven't already. Make sure to like this video, share it with a friend who you think would look absolutely class in one of these colorways. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Ultra Football as well, and I'll see you guys next time at the world's greatest football store.